Hello everybody and welcome to this quick overview of one of our current projects called The Machine. So this is at least a preliminary title. My name is Yves. I'm founder and managing partner of the Python Quant. The Machine is about solving the last mile problem in algorithmic trading. What I mean by that will hopefully become clear when we have gone through the slides that I've prepared. The background, of course, we all know that these days the quants run Wall Street. So for decades, investors imagined a time when data-driven traders would dominate financial markets. That day has arrived. This is what the Wall Street Journal points out here. At Goldman Sachs, the number of people engaged in trading shares has fallen from a peak of 600 in 2000 to just 2 today. So this is a quote from 2016 already. We see that computerization, automation, is taking place all over the financial industry. On the other hand, we have the fact that other areas like FX trading are not yet, so to say, fully automated, or I want to say just automated in terms of applying algorithmic trading to a smaller extent. So here the Bloomberg article from February 2018 points out that just 1 in 10 FX traders currently use algorithms of different types to implement their trading. Of course, the larger players typically make earlier use and more use of it, but just 1 in 10. So we will see, according to this article, and I'm convinced as well, a pickup in algorithmic trading in this field soon. The status quo, when we have a look, and this is now mostly oriented towards retail traders, for example, retail day traders, retail traders that trade in FX or that trade in CFDs. We have the good situation, the platforms, for example, FXCM, they offer REST APIs for algorithmic trading, via which you get access to historical data, live data, as well as execution capabilities. The software and hardware that you need are partly for free or are really cheap. So the barriers of entry to the algorithmic trading space have never been lower than today. A wealth of know-how and how-to in the form of books and online courses and programs is available as well. I think we are playing here a part, at least for the Python ecosystem. For example, we are offering online courses and comprehensive programs in this regard. And on the other hand, what we see is that the interest in algorithmic trading is greater than ever. So in particular, the retail side is absolutely interested in most of the times transforming from retail day trading to retail algo trading. And I think this is a perfectly valid goal because, as the other points before state, barriers of entry have never been lower. Artificial intelligence is also reinforcing this trend since the application of AI methods to trading has become quite simple. When we have a look at what is kind of important for a algorithmic trading project, of course, it all starts with the infrastructure. You need some infrastructure for the first research steps, probably. Any infrastructure will do. Any infrastructure that is used today, using Python, crunching a little bit of data, doing some visualization, any infrastructure will do. The question that arises is, once you want to deploy the code with regard to infrastructure, I mean, things change there. But on the other hand, financial data is available from the platforms, for example, as pointed out before, via REST APIs, via absolute industry standards, and to formulate strategy code, for example, by the use of Python, not a special scripting language or some sophisticated fancy tool, just Python is kind of straightforward as well. The backtesting, once you have the strategy formulated, be it the vectorized backtesting approach or an event-based backtesting approach, they are also not too hard to implement. Connecting to the platforms is made easy, usually via the APIs available these days. And last but not least, placing orders via these connections is also straightforward, starting with market orders, for example. It should be a single line of code just to place a buy or sell order at market. Automation is a little bit more involved, and this is what the machine is about. It shall solve the issues that arise in automation. And the issues are manifold. And now that we're working on it for a few months, they are actually that plentiful. We didn't imagine it before, though we've worked with these technologies for quite a while. And on the other hand, although we have this, for example, comprehensive program here, a 16-week program, 150 plus hours of instruction, 1,200 pages documentation, 5,000 lines of code. It seems to be, from experience, still not enough to master everything that is required to deploy an algo, to deploy an algorithmic trading program so that it runs reliably and robustly. To the contrary, we face a couple of problems. So many interested people, the potential retail algo traders, are lacking fundamental skills either in IT and or trading. So this is not kind of a critique, it's simply where people are coming from. They're interested and they expect this to happen kind of seamlessly, but the hurdles to be taken in terms of like the technical implementation are still too high for some. It's also difficult and time consuming to simply set up such a reliable and robust infrastructure for automated algorithmic trading, even after training. And the platforms themselves, once you get up and running, they don't provide any kind of management capabilities for the trading strategy lifecycle. So what they support you with kind of with a single trade, but think of an algorithmic strategy that creates 30 trades per day. Who is taking care of that? I mean, this is a completely different use case here. The technical, financial, and trading skills, on the other hand, if you say, well, I'm looking for somebody who can do this, are typically only found with industry experts that work for the big hedge funds or the big banks and have their high salaries and probably might not be available to set something up for you as a retail algo trader. So this is therefore what we call the deployment gap, where we have, on the one hand, we have the traders and the researchers that go through trainings, that gain some practice, that do their research, and they say, well, now I've come up with my strategy, let me implement it. And on the other hand, we have the brokers and the platforms that try their best to provide high-performance infrastructure, easy access via APIs, and for example, Python wrappers. They educate their clients and so forth, but still there's the deployment gap. Because all the research, all the training, practice, education, the wrappers and so forth, they simply don't solve the last mile problem, namely to get such an algorithm into deployment. Skills, budget, time are typically the resources that are lacking there. Now let me turn to the solution. The solution is, from our point of view, what we call the machine. In 2017, we at the Python Quants have started development of the machine with a small team of industry experts in Hyderabad, India. The machine solves the major problems interested parties are facing when entering the space of algorithmic trading, because it provides a standardized, reliable infrastructure to backtest and execute automated intraday strategies based on traditional indicators, if you like, or even AI-based signal generators. The example that I've prepared is based on something pretty simple. It supports, manages, and documents the whole life cycle of an automated trading strategy, both from a technical and a financial point of view. So everything is logged, everything is taken care of. Later on, you can do your analysis and so forth. It's also, this was one of the main pillars of the architecture. It's relatively easy to enhance the machine by adding new models and strategies and so forth. So you're not actually confined to what the machine provides at a certain point in time. It should be easy enough if you have a good algo to simply plug it in. I mean, when I speak of simply, it might not be seconds, but it shouldn't be too long either in this regard. A high-level overview provides you with a picture of what the machine should do. The machine is kind of the body, while the algorithm is supposed to be the brain here in this analogy. So AI-based algorithmic trading strategies, this is what many people are able to come up with based on intensive research. But everything around, you need to carry this through a trading week or trading month. This is what the machine is providing. And if you have a little bit more of a technical look, you see, of course, the trading strategy again. The algo is at the center, but you need to take care of the tick data streams, of the trade event streams, of the signals that are generated. Then there must be something that listens to the signal generator and picks up the signals, takes care of the order execution and so forth, does portfolio monitoring and risk management. And all these things need to be run in parallel. And it's easy that you reach 30, 40, or 50 parallel processes taking care of different parts of the whole thing here. And the basic idea is to have connections to multiple trading platforms in this regard. So in that sense, the machine is supposed to close the deployment gap because it focuses on deployment, on trading itself, on the data processing side and manages the complete strategy lifecycle. Now coming to the workflow, first based here on slides and then on a little live demo. So probably you do your research in something like Jupyter Notebook using Python, for example, and after a little while, a couple of hours of sweat and tears, you come up with something where you say, well, this is not something I'm interested to be executed. Then once such a model is plugged into the machine, you get standardized means to do other backtests and so forth. So if this model, once it is fixed, so to say, for a certain while at least, you can then use it and simply have here like kind of a nice GUI. This is all web-based, of course, these days. And you can do your backtest and inspect the backtesting results. They are all stored here for your convenience, and you can go into the details of the backtest results down to every single time interval you have been testing this for. You see kind of comparisons of the strategy performance versus the underlying you're going to trade. Here in my little case, it is a euro-US dollar. So it's an FX strategy. It's a 5-second interval that is used. And you see kind of the black line compared to the blue line in terms of backtesting performance versus in-sample benchmark of the underlying. Then, and now we come to the interesting part, you simply say, well, I've backtested this isn't enough. I'm now going to deploy the model based on what I've backtested, based on what I've plugged in. I've now a good feeling, and be it, for example, just for paper trading, or if you say, well, for real trading, I'm going to implement this. And you simply say then here, pick the model with the parameterization that was backtested, and you specify the quantity to trade. And currently we have stop loss capabilities included. Further risk management measures will be included later on, but currently it is the stop loss distance that you can specify here. And just then simply say add model, and once you have added it, then the machine takes over. The machine has now the intelligence, the brain part, and the body part takes over and carries around, so to say, the algo strategy, executes things. So you can have one strategy just executed. You can have a few here in the overview that have been stopped previously, or you have multiple. You see here in this little screenshot, 2 have been running at the same time. Basically, the machine should be scalable enough so that you're able to run 10, 20, 30 strategies at the same time based on different instruments. And at the future point, also based on different platforms, maybe. Then you can inspect further statistics here that you see related to the live models, unrealized P&L, and all these things. But this is not the major part for inspection. You see that you have full overview over every single signal and over every single trade that has been executed. You can drill down, you can inspect it, you can see how good the signals have been. Here the example shows, oh, well, the accuracy hasn't been that great with regard to the prediction. It's just 41.67%. You can then drill down and see where things went wrong and so forth. But on the other hand, if something is running for quite a while, you see here many signals have been predicted, and this strategy is trading a little bit more frequent. So you see L for long, S for short position, and to see exactly when these trades have been placed. So it's always down to the millisecond level for which you have data available. In this case that I'm showing here, the accuracy has been a little bit higher. And of course, access you get to the pure numbers, not only the graphical representation, the pure numbers as well. So for later analysis, where you say, well, at which exact point in time, which trade has been placed, and what was kind of the success, the P&L of every single trade, and all these elements are tracked and for you available. If you say, well, what Eve is showing here is nothing of interest to me, of course, you can replace it, and here the implementation for this simple SMA-based algorithm, including the backtesting part, plus the live trading part, is less than 100 lines of code, while the machine has already multiple thousands lines of code currently. So it's just the intelligence that you should bring to the party, and the machine is then taking care of the rest. But let me now try a little live demo. So when I go to backtested models, for example, and I click on get backtested models, you see there are a couple of them running already. So for example, I can click on the first one, and this might be similar to what we've seen before. So you see this is all interactive. I can also change here the part and inspect the backtesting results, all the ones down here as well. So, and on the other hand, I do backtest model. So let me stick maybe here to 5 and 10. Let me pick out some data here from last week. So this is not just a quick example. Go that route, and the frequency we take, oh no, we take 5 seconds. This is simple moving average. So I just want to focus here on the simple strategies, not on the sophisticated ones, because I want to highlight what the machine can do in terms of deployment. So when I click on it, I might not want to wait for too long. And in the back end, things are running, and you can exit this. And on the other hand, when we go to the live model side, what you see here, there are many stock models that have been running beforehand. So I can, for example, pick out that one here. And after a little while, you see this was just running for a short period of time. This was just obviously a quick check based on 1 minute bars. You have the audits for others as well. So here, for example, let me pick out with more frequent trading, Euro, GBP, 5-second trades. So I see here we have more trades. This was running for a little while, and we can inspect all this, what I've shown before. I can change kind of the interval and go over it. And you see here, started with a long position, then went short, long, and you see exactly when trades have been happening. Not only in the table, of course, you can always have a look at the table, but here with the Hoover effects, you also get kind of insights here into the single trades, into even single signals, as you can see here, whether the signal was right or wrong. Wrong means, of course, red, or it's represented by red, and so forth. So, on the other hand, once we have the backtested models, we can, for example, simply say here a Euro US dollar, for example. There's 1 minute bar. Let me pick that one. This is 5 seconds. So, for example, I say, let me get started with 1,000, for example, and then afterwards simply say add model, and things are then running. So this is what the machine is supposed to do, taking care of this in automatic fashion. In the backend, of course, many things are locked and so forth. But on the front end, you should have at any time have an overview of the stuff that is running, of what is going on, unrealized P&L, and so forth. So in real time, you have the overview. And in hindsight, you can always revisit what you have been executing here, so to say, and see what is currently going on and analyze what has been going on with your live models previously. And for the connection to the platforms, it's taken care of. Of course, you need to provide your credentials either for your paper trading account or the real account, and then live trading goes on. Filling the gap, meaning that the trading platform, for example, connects to brokers like FXCM or Oranda. This is currently a platform that we've implemented. The machine then has the logic, the algo itself, and takes care of the trading strategy lifecycle. And we have, on the other hand, the retail algo traders and the small institutions that are able to execute their algos based on the trading platforms in a standardized fashion, where the front office, the middle office, so to say, and the back office of the trading part are kind of taken care of to a large extent by the machine. Of course, you need to come up with a strategy. No strategies are sold or are planned to be sold. So if this is your part, the brain part is yours. You should come up with the strategy that you want to implement. The principles that have guided or are currently guiding the implementation is that we use Python. We are, of course, the Python quants. This is our core technology, and it builds the core code base here. The trading logic is also in pure Python. So many people know Python. They can use Python to formulate strategies and to plug in their strategies. It is AI powered, so we have already capabilities. I haven't shown them with regard to machine learning, deep learning, traditional indicators. Trading is the focus, so facilitate deployment of strategies and systematic trading. So this is really the focus. And on the other hand, once you get started trading and you're trading algo strategies, the life cycle, pre-trade, trade, post-trade for every single trade plus the strategies themselves. So this is what the focus lies on. From a technical point of view, it's end-to-end. So everything is tracked, everything is taken care of, from the tick retrieval for every single tick that is of interest to post-trade analysis and documentation. Skin in the game, so it all started out with an internal project where we said, well, let's get started with trading here. We want to walk the talk, so to say, and own trading first. So be assured that we will check it with our own capital before we put it out in the wild. And then we're entering partnerships and will also open it for users. Simplicity, it should be as simple as it can get to transform from a retail day trader to a retail algo trader. It should be rather days and kind of months and months. We're working now the months that you would otherwise need to work. So to make it as simple as possible and as straightforward as possible. So execution, trading, deployment, this is what we are focusing here on with the machine. Bringing me to the end, to this quick walkthrough here. More will follow. Of course, we are working on the project currently intensively, so many parts are moving, are getting updated, getting enhanced. So watch out for more information with regard to the machine. If you have questions or ideas or simply want to comment on it, feel free to reach out. Here you see the information. If you want to stay informed, the best way is to do via my Twitter account, DYGH. This gives you kind of the most current information that you might be looking for. Having said that, I wish you happy Python coding and also happy algo trading, and see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.